Okay, here we are on Epic Entertainment. Today we're looking at the McFarlane Collector Edition Multiverse Superman. So the DC Multiverse. This is the Christopher Reeve Superman from McFarlane that I just received. I pre-ordered on GameStop. We're going to be making a video looking at this figure today, and we'll be uploading it on Rumble and on YouTube both. Of course, the longer video will be on Rumble. So if you're watching on YouTube at the end of this video, you may have to click the link at the bottom to see some of the other comparisons and the other things we're doing looking at this figure today. We've already cut the box so we can open it, so we're going to go ahead and get that open after we, let's take a real quick moment to look at the box in case anyone is wondering. This is pretty standard for the McFarlane DC Multiverse. Like I said, I think I said anyway, I pre-ordered on GameStop. This just came in today. For the pre-order, it looks really nice. I like the metallics at the top and bottom. I don't know if I remember them on the other boxes. We might look at some other figures here in just a little bit to look at that. So everything looks really nice on the packaging. And one of the things that I didn't like from the cel-shaded one that I've seen some reviews on is it looked like the cape was really wide, and I didn't like that. I do see that it looks like my S has a little bit of a smudge inside it, which I hate that. But we'll get it open and see how bad it is. Maybe it's something I could fix. Usually when I try to fix things, I end up making them worse. So we may not do that. I'm going to go ahead and open it out of the box, and we'll continue with the video. Now, after getting them out of the box, I have to specify. I was a pretty big fan of Superman when I was growing up. I mean, I was born in the 80s, like in the early 80s. The Superman movies were something that I watched as a kid, like the Superman 1, Superman 2, 3 and 4. I watched all the stuff. I watched the Batman movies, and they came out in '89. This figure is something I was really looking forward to. Now, there are some things about it that are just really amazing looking, okay? As far as the details and how it looks, the way the cape is on the back. I mean, this just looks incredible. Now, it is a wire cape, which is fantastic. Some of the other things about the figure, though, is it feels kind of weird in the joints. Not like some of the other McFarlane figures I have. Like these, the elbows are super stiff, and yet these joints here are really loose, and they really open up a lot, and I hate that. I do like the colors. The colors are right on. I like the blue. I like the red. I like the yellow. It's standard on the McFarlane, though, and how the joints work and how they're really stiff at first. Now, that's something that could loosen up over time. Definitely like the sculpt work. The boots look like they're this hybrid of cloth and actual boot material, which is kind of how it looks in the movie. So I like how that is. The yellow S on the back is right on. Like, that is perfect. Like I said before, there's a little scuff mark in the emblem, which I'm not a huge fan of. I wish they had painted the ends of these to be flesh tone and not like that. And the flesh tone looks like it's a little dark, but the facial features are there. I mean, if you look at it, it really is really close. The hair looks good. I like the sculpt on the hair. So as far as your articulation goes, let's look at that real quick. We'll look at that. So he doesn't go up that far. He goes down pretty well. He does, spin, and then he tilts side to side. He does do that. Not super far. Let's see what we can do as far as a flying pose. He comes with the flight stand. Oh gosh. Well, that popped off way easier than I was expecting it to. Just trying to get it back in that position. All right, well, that's fun. Okay, let's see what we can get in this flight position. Let's see how that looks. I mean, that looks pretty good. That looks like he did on movies and such. If I get the flight stand out, that would probably look really good. So there is some good poses. As far as the ab crunch goes, he doesn't seem to have a lot of movement here. I mean, he tilts back, which I guess that's the only thing you really need. But it seems like other McFarlane figures may have done it better. Maybe it's fine. I think it's something that I will like better as I mess with him more. His proportions seem to look okay to me, if anyone's looking at that kind of thing. I guess a lot of people do. The hands look like they're more of the right size than normal, maybe. Yeah, I think the hands are hard to tell for me. They might be a little big. He has a variety of hands, though. Like, he comes with a whole bunch. We'll look at those in just a moment. I was just wanting to get my very first impressions of kind of how everything is. It's that one shoulder. That one shoulder bugs me more than... Like, this one seems fine. Like, well, no. McFarlane toys are kind of hit or miss. Sometimes they hit them exactly, and sometimes they've got just little things that are not quite right. You can't see it on camera as well, but the coloration inside here, inside this area, seems to be different than the coloration on the outside. Oh man, maybe I was too hyped about this, because I think I'm feeling a little bit like it wasn't what I expected it to be. The belt's painted in back. It's got the belt loops on it. That's good. I haven't really, this is me just opening it up out of the box, so I haven't had time to mess with it and see all the things I think about it. I might take a second to do that. Yeah, so here's another thing I noticed. He doesn't really have a lot of side to side. I'm going to pull out another McFarlane figure here in a second that I like a lot and see how they compare. The legs swing out pretty normal. They swing up. They go back. It looks like that material is already having issues back here. Is that softer than normal? I can't tell. Well, look at that. Cape is nice and flexible. You can do lots of things with the cape, which I love. Now, ideally, I wouldn't put this with Adam West Batman. A lot of people seem to do that. It's more of a 89 Batman for me, and I don't have that figure currently. I plan on getting it. But I just don't know when. Let's stand him up real quick. I was about to say he stands up pretty well, and then he falls over. So, lots of posing you can do with him. Maybe not this era Superman pose. Maybe I'm thinking of, he does this once, actually. He does like a pose like this once in one of the movies. I'm pretty sure. Ooh. Ankles are kind of stiff in some ways, and then in other ways they're not. So it's not giving me a lot of, there we go. We got him up. Move it back a little bit. We'll get someone else standing next to him here. I don't know how I feel about him. And I know this isn't the correct, like I said, I think 89 Batman would be better. But I don't think the Adam West Batman's quite right either. I don't think it really fits with this version of Superman either. It's just a little too camp. And I know the original movie is a lot more lighthearted, a lot more camp, but I think the Adam West Batman's a little too much. Although, I mean, it's live action. The colors are great. So, but I mean, this is the same kind of color scheme. This very Nightfall Batman is in the same kind of classic kind of vein as the Superman. And the Superman is quite a bit taller. Let me see if I can make him as tall as I can. I mean, gosh, the live action figures feel like they're a little bit more tall, don't they? Okay, we'll look at another Superman figure up against that. Let's turn him facing the camera a little bit more. There we go. So just a second, let's get him in here with another live action Superman. Now, I don't know if this is a fair comparison for this actual Superman figure, the way he is. Let me adjust this ankle a little bit more. So, and the reason why, I don't know if it's a fair comparison. Now, the height looks a little bit better between these two. But the reason why it may not be a good comparison is because on these two, I've repainted my Justice League, McFarlane, Superman here. The blue was way too dark for me and didn't have any of the metallic that was showing in the movie. So it was just a nice little airbrush like in the blue there to add that in there. Aside from that, I have made no change to this figure. I did paint it in the back as well, even though he's got a cape there, and I think that actually turned out really well. I may have another copy of this that I have in the box that has the original colors that I could pull out and show. I may show that in an extended video, but I don't want this video to be too long for the YouTube version. So this is him compared to that Superman. So if you're wanting some live action comparisons, this is probably the best one I could make, even though, like I said, it's not fair to the original version of this figure, because I like the metallic blues. I think the metallic on the blue looks way closer that he did to in the actual Justice League movie, which is what the figure is from. The Justice League True Color Superman, like the red and blue one, seemed like it was more like the Batman v Superman one more than it was the Justice League movie one that was released. So here's a comparison of these two together, and I think this is a pretty fair comparison on the height and everything. The facial sculpts between them, I mean, I think the likeness for the Christopher Reeve is actually better than the likeness on the Cavill one. I think the Reeve one is actually very good on the actual likeness. I think as far as how the figure works and how the joints are, oh, these are stiff too. I don't know. I think it's a McFarlane thing. It's definitely more like a McFarlane thing. Those joints do get loosened up in time as you work them to the point where they're more manageable. Out of the box, they're a little bit harder to deal with. Our only last comparison I'm going to do here is this right here. Now, this is what I use on my display as my Superman. So I'm going to pull him off here. I do have a display of all kinds of different things, but this is what I use as my Superman. And this is a little bit of a kit bashy kind of thing where I've taken, you know, the Hush Superman and I've put in the head on from the Rebirth, I think, and I want to do a good Rebirth Superman. And so that's kind of, I've put the custom cloth cape that I've attached to him that's very flexible, has the wire in there. It's a little bit longer than this other cape. I prefer a little bit longer cape on my Superman, although this is accurate for that Superman, and I wouldn't make any changes to that. That is how it should look. And overall, I think the Superman looks really, really good. I don't have the classic Wonder Woman from McFarlane. I wish I did. She may have been good with this. I do have a Wonder Woman I can put with her, but with him. But I'll probably show that later on in the extended video that'll be on Rumble, other than the video on YouTube. But this is it so far. These are the characters. I will post a link to the Rumble video on this video after this video goes up live. So this is the McFarlane Reeve Superman. So this is the Reeve McFarlane Superman. I like the figure. I think it's a good figure. I'm not sure if it's a good figure. I think for the price point, what is it like? I think it was like $30, and then shipping, all that stuff. I pre-ordered it from GameStop, got it in there, so I didn't spend aftermarket prices. I don't know what they're going to be. I know the Wonder Woman is crazy. Gosh, it feels so. See, that one feels normal, and this one feels so loose. I don't know if everyone's figure is going to be like that, but mine is just loose, like real bad. And that feels great on this side. Everything else, I think, is fine. It's that one arm, and it could just be my figure. So this is a first look at this guy. Like, I don't know. He's kind of. I think my expectations are too high. I think I need to marinate on it. I think I need to sit with him for a little bit, and that's probably why we haven't seen some other reviews. There's probably other people that are looking at this guy that are saying, I need to sit on this a little bit. I don't need to do a review yet because I'm not so sure how I feel about it yet. So that's probably what we're seeing. So hopefully you guys will get your hands on it soon. You'll be able to look at it. We'll do some other comparisons and such, and we'll see how we go. But for those who are watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. And if you want to, go over to the Rumble and look at the longer video. So we're going to be looking at some other stuff. And thank you.